Hello, this is Eye on Africa with me, Yinka Itade. Our top stories. A grim new milestone in the fast-growing Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, as cases surpass 4,000 with the death toll climbing to 1,850 people. Low rainfall and failing pipes leave taps dry in the Gabon capital, authorities declaring a state of emergency over the water shortage. And rising water levels at Lake Baringo in Kenya push communities into closer contact with crocodiles, leading to increased attacks. But first, our top story at this hour. The Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo has reached a troubling new stage. Confirmed cases have now surpassed 4,000, with the death toll climbing to 1,850. Health experts say they are alarmed by the speed of the virus's spread, describing it as one of the fastest moving Ebola epidemics on record. They also warn the true number of infections could be even higher, believing the virus was circulating for months before the outbreak was officially declared on May 15th. Emma Livingstone gives us the latest from Kinshasa now.
On Friday, another grim milestone was reached. Congo announced that over 4,000 people have now been infected with Ebola and 1,850 people have died. The current Ebola epidemic is the fastest growing in history and is showing no sign of slowing down. This week, there were also heightened fears that the disease could even spread from hotspots in eastern Congo to the capital, Kinshasa. A person suspected of having Ebola was aboard a packed barge travelling down the Congo River to Kinshasa, a city of over 20 million people. Congolese authorities have intercepted the boat and have promised to step up sanitary measures. But there's a growing sense that the Ebola outbreak is spiralling out of control. Since being declared on May 15th in the province of Ituri, Ebola has now spread to 5 Congolese provinces. Health workers say that crucial measures needed to stop the disease, such as surveillance and contact tracing, are lacking. This week, the head of the World Health Organization, as well as aid organisation Doctors Without Borders, warned that the response needs to be scaled up massively.
The country director for the International Rescue Committee, Heather Kerr, says health workers have struggled to rein in infections from the very start.
The thing about this outbreak is it's really not under control, and it hasn't been under control since the beginning, and this is making it very difficult. And the reason for that is it was declared on the 15th of May, but actually it started much earlier than that. And according to a couple of reports I've seen recently, people are saying that the actual index case goes as far back as February. So the outbreak was there and raging through the community, if you like, and nobody knew. People were getting sick, people were presenting in the health centres, and Ebola has very similar symptoms to malaria to begin with. And then people realised it looked like Ebola, but they were testing for the Zaire strain, and this is the Bundibugyo strain. So it just took a long while for people to catch up and realise what they were dealing with, and we simply haven't caught up. There's so many people working in the response, doing a great job. But we've got to do more, and we're seeing nearly 100 cases nearly every day, and this means the Ebola treatment centres are filling up, and then the suspect cases need to be in isolation. So we're in danger of running out of beds in the treatment centres. I'm sure we'll create more, but it's an outbreak unlike any other. I'm currently in Bunia, in Ituri, which is the centre of epicenter of the outbreak. And it's quite strange when you walk around the town because you wouldn't really think there was an outbreak. People are still going to nightclubs, and there are still large gatherings, and there's not enough communication around the town. I'd want to see, banderoles, as we call them in French, everywhere, and posters beside the road and everything. They're beginning to come, but there needs to be much more out there about Ebola. It's only with the community that we'll fight this outbreak.
We're turning to the capital of Gabon now, where taps are running dry. Libreville has grappled with a water shortage for several months that has forced authorities to declare a state of emergency. The shortage is being fueled by low rainfall, failing pipes, and increased demand. Well, a water distribution plan using tanker trucks for affected neighborhoods has failed after private water distributors got involved. Our team on the ground filed this report.
In this Libreville's neighborhood, people spend countless hours waiting for the slightest trickle of water. This broken leaking meter, where water is available only for 30 minutes a day, has become the most important place in the district. Everyone is in a rush to get some for their households.
The water comes at 7:30 in the morning, so you have to be there very early. There are often crowds and fights.
The government has failed to fulfill promises it made a couple of months ago to ensure local populations have potable water in their homes. Here, in another neighborhood, residents are stuck with untreated water.
We've been dealing with a water shortage for 14 years. We don't drink this water. We use it to wash and to clean. We buy bottled mineral water to drink.
The water distribution company was tasked to arrange trucks to distribute water to affected neighborhoods. This never happened, and instead, private companies have been found doing the distribution and demanding users pay higher for the services.
The state has taken control of this issue. Some cynics have said it would sell water in the black market. But no, the state is mobilizing all resources to ensure the population has access to this essential resource soon enough.
While the government is yet to replace aging pipes and repair water treatment facilities, which enormously contributes to the shortage, the growing population continue to suffer as the taps of some Libreville residents remain dry.
In Kenya, rising water levels at Lake Baringo in the Reef Valley are driving communities into ever closer contact with crocodiles. As the lake continues to expand, homes, roads and tourist facilities are disappearing beneath the water. Thousands of families have now been displaced to higher ground, but many say the lake keeps rising, forcing them to flee again and again. Noam Bashtiga has the story.
On the banks of Kenya's Lake Baringo, the roofs of a submerged tourist complex are still visible above the water. On one of them, 2 crocodiles bask in the afternoon sun. For the past 15 years, Baringo's water levels have kept on rising, flooding surrounding farmland and getting dangerously close to nearby homes.
And by around 2014, now we realized something was the lake water was changing completely. So from 2009, 2010 up to date, the water level has never gone down.
According to estimates, the lake's surface area has expanded by over 70% since 2010. This has forced tens of thousands of people to flee their homes, but many may now have to move again. The phenomenon, which scientists say is linked to climate change, has also brought about another kind of threat. Wild animals have been moving closer to human dwellings, and the number of attacks has surged. Mary Tieran's husband was killed by a hippopotamus in 2011. 10 years later, her 9-year-old son was bitten by a crocodile and nearly lost his arm.
He went to fetch water when he was attacked. There were other children with him. They helped him fight off the crocodile. 3 children wrestled with the animal. All of them were also bitten.
Powerless to stop rising water levels and an increasingly emboldened wildlife, many families are now hoping to move away from the lake, but most simply can't afford to relocate elsewhere.
We're staying in Kenya now, where authorities are investigating a suspected cyanide poisoning that has killed 15 elephants in Amboseli National Park. Investigators are trying to determine how the toxic chemical entered the ecosystem shared by wildlife, livestock, and nearby farms. But local growers are rejecting claims that cyanide used on tomato crops was responsible for the elephants' deaths. The head of veterinary services at Kenya's Wildlife Service has more now on the suspected poisoning.
For these particular cases, the ones we saw, they're getting paralyzed, especially affecting the forelimbs. The animal goes down and they're having difficulty breathing. So it could tell you that the cardiopulmonary system was affected. And even on opening during postmortem, we found most of the lesions within the lungs and the heart.
Some sports news for you now. The quarterfinals of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations gets underway this weekend. Ivory Coast face Algeria, while hosts Morocco take on South Africa in two highly anticipated last 8 clashes. On Sunday, Ghana meet a Malawi side that has stunned many by topping a group featuring defending champions Nigeria. The Super Falcons also return to action against Cameroon, determined to keep their title defence alive against the side with a history of causing upsets in knockout football. Well, that brings us to the end of the programme. Stay with us here on France 24.
In Senegal, football is much more than just a game.
Je préfère passer à haut niveau. À l'étranger, je préfère voyager à l'étranger.
But behind these dreams, there's a network of fake agents. Broken promises, futures in jeopardy. When dreams turn into nightmares.
Malheureusement, les garçons sont partis au Ghana via un faux formulaire et non par pacte académique.
Rêve cher. Moi, mu signé won pro. Nek ci footballeur yu gëna mag yi.
Watch Senegal, the football mafia on France 24.